All right, court is now in session. The docket is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. It's now 2:18 p.m. and I am ready to call my docket. All of these matters have been scheduled at least 3 weeks in advance, and so parties have had ample time to talk with each other and to do whatever they need to do so that I can call my docket. I am ready, Mr. Fikens.
Yes.
Mr. Reed, I'm gonna start with you since I see you on the screen. Who do you have ready?
Albert Abrams is ready, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Abrams, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have the following matter. I have SP 123-20691. Mr. Abrams, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Fikens, go ahead and place your appearance on the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Robert Fikens, P31894 on behalf of Mr. Abrams.
Thank you, and then Mr. Abrams, state your full name for the record.
Albert Rudolph Abrams, Jr.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience this afternoon. Mr. Fikens, how are we proceeding? Today is the date scheduled for trial.
Yes, Your Honor. No issuing. The issuing officer did not sign in, does not appear in the courtroom, and I've not been told that his presence was in the courtroom. Therefore, Judge, at this time, we move to dismiss without prejudice. We realize that any dismissal would be a dismissal without prejudice.
Thank you, counsel. I'm satisfied I've given the officer ample time to appear. They have failed to do so. I'm granting your motion. It's without prejudice. And thank you, sir. You'll get your paperwork in the mail.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Counsel, who do we have next?
John, Your Honor, the next person, if the court is willing to call him, is John Agnew. I believe he's in the courtroom.
He is, but he missed his court date. I am going to see him, but I'm going to do my scheduled docket first, Mr. Agnew. So thank you for your patience. All right, counsel.
Judge, right now, the city attorney is discussing matters with police officers. The next person is James Adams, but his officer is discussing the matter with the city attorney.
You knock on the door, ask the city attorney to step out for a second.
Here's that one case here for now.
Only have one?
Yeah, until we figure out what we're doing with the.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am. And I don't have, let me get James Adams for you. Oh, you know why I don't have it? Because he got my files. I'm not crazy.
All right. While we're making the best use of our time, are we ready? Mr. Morgan, good afternoon. I'm ready to call my 1:30 docket.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I didn't know you were here.
Oh, I've been here. I've been waiting on you all.
I mean,
Oh, okay. No, I've been in chambers waiting for you all, waiting for the call that you all are ready. So I just decided to come on up because it's almost 2:30.
I understand, Your Honor. I was trying to get out of those breakout rooms. They wouldn't let me out.
They wouldn't let you out.
No, I still have people to talk to because I couldn't get to them yet.
You have, okay, counsel, are we ready to proceed?
Which case are we,
I'm proceeding on all of my cases because I scheduled these 3 weeks out. And I gave the parties ample time. They could will, deal, talk, or whatever they need to do. So I'm ready to call my cases for trial. Some of these cases have been lingering on my docket. And so people, if they're not ready to proceed, you'll have to reissue. But we're trying cases today.
Your Honor, I need to speak to Officer Patillo.
Oh, for James Adams.
Pardon me?
For James Adams.
Yes, for James Adams. That's this case right here. The other case I was hung up on, this is a pre-trial. And I think they're just gonna get a trial date. That's Ardestani. Okay.
Council,
Yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
about to call my docket. I don't see Ardestani on the screen. I don't know if that individual is with us.
See, his screen is.
Oh, Your Honor,
Honor,
this
I'm here.
is Seth Tompkins
Oh,
for,
you have to get a better screen, sir. I can't make out who you are. And we're recording for identity purposes. I can't see you on that screen. So you're gonna have to find another apparatus to zoom in on, or you will have to come physically into 36th District Court. Okay?
Would you like me to come in today? I'd be happy to.
Okay, you can come in tomorrow, I'm sorry, on Monday. But I don't even know why we would let him sit for an hour with the screen looking like that. I'm not going to proceed with I can't make out who he is.
I understand. I understand perfectly.
Your Honor, I explained that to his attorney.
I think it's, Your Honor, hi, Your Honor, I'm sorry that this is happening. The last hearing, it came on fine, and there must have been something with his lens between now and then. If I may, Mr. Ardestani, can you take a different view so the light isn't directly behind you?
Yeah, of course. I can
That might be
probably
much
turn it-
more helpful.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn it around, see if it works better. Oh, hold on one second. I'll be happy to do that. Hold on one second.
Very sorry, Your Honor.
Is that better?
It's a lot better.
Can you see him, John?
That's better.
My
Let me
apologies,
call
Your
the
Honor.
case. That's okay. And thank you, Ms. Wilson. I have the following, no, Mr. Abrams, Albert Abrams, you are free to leave, sir. We've completed your case. Thank you. I have the following, U599-90421, U620-62121. Counsel, your appearance.
Seth Tompkins, P 63249, on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Ardestani.
Thank you. And then for the people,
Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit, B 44533, Your Honor.
thank you. And then let me have Mr. Adestani state your name for the record, please.
My first name Abdullah, my last name Hashemi Ardestani.
Thank you. Counsel, how are we proceeding today? This matter is scheduled for pre-trial.
Yes, Your Honor. I've had a chance to speak to Mr. Morgan, and I sent him a draft of a motion that I'd like to file in this matter and to dismiss. So we'd like to set this matter for trial far enough out where I can have our motion heard if we can't have something worked out with Mr. Morgan, if that's okay with you.
Okay, counsel, are you asking for a bench trial or a jury trial?
We can have a bench trial in this matter, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will set a bench trial and I'll set it out far enough so that you have the opportunity, Mr. Morgan, or the city's law department to respond to the motion to dismiss. I'll set the bench trial out. Ms. Mac, don't let me overbook myself.
I got you.
All right, I'm going to set it for April. Nope, I'll set it for April 1st.
No,
What's wrong with April 1st?
you can't use April 1st.
It's just too, ma'am.
You can't use April 1st. Man.
Oh, that's my date.
Okay.
I gave her dates not to book me. Now I want to fuss about it. All right. I won't use April 1st. What about April 8th?
Your Honor, April 8th works for me. I'll put that in there as our trial date, and I'll see if I can't work this out or get the motion filed to have it heard before then.
All right, so we'll do April 8th, 2022, and that'll be at 1:30 p.m. Anything else for my consideration?
No, I hope you have a good weekend and a good April 1st.
Thank you. I hope so too. I'll be working, just not here. All right.
Okay, thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Are we ready? I see a couple of people on the screen. Let's go to Mr. Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez, are we ready on Alvarez?
Yes. That's retained.
Mr. Alvarez has a retained attorney. Thank you. Where is Mr. Alvarez? There he is. All right, very good. I have the following. I have case number Z 799-052 for the people.
Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit, Your Honor.
Thank you for defendant.
Paul Kalenda on behalf of Mr. Alvarez, who's present by Zoom, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. And then Mr. Alvarez, please state your name.
He's muted.
Oh, you're on mute, sir. Unmute for me.
Okay, my name is Alberto Sanchez Alvarez.
All right, thank you. Today is the date scheduled for trial. Are the people ready to proceed?
Your Honor, is our officers here? Officer Ball, are you on screen and ready to go?
He might be in the breakout room.
Did he check in?
He is here.
Officer Ball did check in.
He did or did not? I'm
He
sorry.
did,
Here, Your
yes.
Honor.
One officer.
Your Honor, if I may, briefly, so Officer Ball was one of the arresting officers. The data master officer is a Robert Kozlowski. I saw there was a note in the file back from 2015 that at that time in 15, Officer Kozlowski was retired. I don't think 7 years later, he's become unretired, and seeing that he's not on the screen and that he's the data master operator who's a necessary evidentiary witness to essentially to substantiate the third element of the drunk driving statute, the jury instructions, the people are unable to proceed at this time without that necessary witness.
All right, counsel.
Your Honor, I would actually, I would disagree with the statements made by counsel because a charge of OWI also includes a charge of visibly impaired, and you do not need a data master to make that case. If you have testimony or some other evidence that proves that the person was driving under the influence of alcohol, you do not need a data master. However, I have not consulted with Officer Ball at this point, and I am not necessarily prepared for that reason to go forward at this moment.
Okay, and so counsel, I'm granting your motion for dismissal. I'm doing it without prejudice. And the people are certainly at liberty to refile this case, as you should, an OWI case, at your leisure. And so that's the court's decision. The matter is dismissed without prejudice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Alvarez, we'll talk soon.
And Officer Ball, would you please hang around for a minute so I can consult with you in the breakout room? She's there, but here we're not.
Officer Ball, were you able to hear Attorney Morgan? I don't know if he can hear me.
We might still be in the breakout.
Oh, he may be. All right,
No, he's in here.
let's
His
go.
camera is off.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna talk to names. All right, let's keep going. Are we ready on Kenneth Adams, the fourth? Is Kenneth Adams, the fourth present?
James Adams, Jones, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry?
Kenneth is his middle name.
Oh, James Adams, I'm sorry. Okay. Is Mr. Adams ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where's Mr. Adams? I don't see him.
At the top.
I'm right here.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, there you are. Okay, wonderful. I'm calling case number U 617-73221. For the people,
Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit, Your Honor.
thank you. And then for defendant,
Robert Fikens on behalf of Mr. Adams, Your Honor.
thank you. Mr. Adams, state your name for the record.
James Kenneth Adams the fourth.
Thank you. All right, today is the date scheduled for trial. Are we ready to proceed?
At this moment, Your Honor, the people are not ready to proceed to trial. The people would move to amend this citation and change the statutory number from 750.234E to the corresponding city board number. And I would ask Officer Patillo if she has that board number. Also, let the record reflect that I have not had a chance to consult with Officer Patillo at this point, and have just gotten this file and looked at it.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Fikens, in response to the motion?
Judge, if this was a state charge, there should be a state attorney here. I think they're amending at the last possible moment. There's a lot of problems with this case, Judge. I move to dismiss it this time.
All right. Counsel, in response is your motion.
Well, this, Your Honor, this case was written on a, what's so-called a green ticket, which is often used by Detroit police officers. I believe that this case was intended to be handled by the city of Detroit and the city of Detroit law department and its prosecutors. So I do think that what the intent was not for a Wayne County prosecutor, but for a city of Detroit prosecutor to handle the case.
But either way, the people are not prepared to go forward today. Is that correct?
Not as this is drafted, this needs to be revised. This citation needs to be revised to include the city ordinance number.
I understand that, but I'm asking, even if it was amended, are you all prepared to proceed on today?
If I may, ask the officer, are you prepared to proceed to trial, Officer Patillo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then, Mr. Fikens, your motion, you're indicating that you're objecting because it's at the last minute, it's at the time of trial, and you have not had the opportunity to prepare your defense because you're just receiving notice on today of the request for an amended charge.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, he has to have opportunity to prepare his defense. Go ahead, respond.
And I understand that what Mr. Mike is stating. However, there is a description here on the face of this citation which describes the action of brandishing a firearm. And the difference here is that we're talking about a city ordinance versus a state statute. However, the acts that were committed or alleged to have been committed at the time are stated on the citation. And so I believe that the defense does have ample notice of that. I will also see the fact that the specific citation or statutory citation, they do not have ample notice of that.
Okay, counsel, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to grant the motion for dismissal. You all can refile and straighten all of that out and then bring the matter forward to trial. It's dismissed on today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Let's go. Who do we have up next?
Can I ask a question?
You're free to go, Mr. Adams.
Can
I ask a
You're
question?
free to go, Mr. Adams, and you can ask a question to your attorney. Is that what you're wanting to do?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Fikens, you want to go in a breakout room with him after you're finished with
Yes.
the
Mr.
rest
Adams,
of the docket?
Judge, may I go in the breakout room with Mr. Adams now? I'll answer his question.
All right, yes, please.
Miss Wilson, will you put me in the breakout room with Mr. Adams?
All right. I believe the remainder of my docket is Anthony Armstrong.
Yes, Judge.
Are the people ready to proceed with respect to Mr. Armstrong?
How you doing?
Yes, the people are prepared. Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit.
All right, let me call all of the cases. Are all of these matters going to trial today, Mr. Morgan?
No, I believe actually, we do not have any officers here.
No, you do.
I believe they will have to let me know who's here. I believe that Ashley Pond, Officer Pond is on bereavement, and Officer Drake, so I did consult Officer Drake though, and he's unable to proceed to trial today. That covers 3 matters on the docket for Mr. Armstrong.
There's
And
Officer Thompson.
Pond, I'm sorry. She has 3 matters for Mr. Armstrong. And that one I would ask for an adjournment because she is on bereavement. This is what I was informed of. When I walked.
Yes, and actually, let me place those case numbers on the record because I did receive that motion to adjourn those matters. that the officer was on a bereavement leave. And so I have case numbers 18503, 8851. I also have case number 18503, 885, counts 2 and 3. And so, counsel, go ahead and place your appearance on the record again for me.
Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit, B44533.
Thank you. Who's representing Mr. Armstrong? Mr. Fikens?
Yes, Your Honor. Robert Fikens on behalf of Mr. Armstrong.
All right, very good. And so, Mr. Fikens, you heard counsel's motion to to adjourn the 3 matters that I read into the record. The officer is on bereavement leave, and certainly that's good cause shown. I'll still give you an opportunity to respond.
Yeah, no, Judge, and we'd have no objection, obviously, and I've discussed that with my client that it is bereavement. He understands that, Judge. We have no objection. I'm trying to think of a different way to handle this, but let's go through that first, Judge, and maybe we can come back to Officer Plan's cases once we do the rest of the matters.
All right, thank you. I am going to grant the motion for adjournment. I am going to adjourn this matter to March 11th. That's going to be next Friday. It'll be next week, Friday, 2022. And again, that will be at 1:30 p.m. As to the remaining matters, you also talked about Officer Kondratko. I'm going to place those case numbers on the record at this time. SP 384467, counts 1, 2, and 3. The people have indicated that Officer Kondratko, he's not able to go forward with respect to trial. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, then your motion, Mr. Fikens?
Motion to dismiss without prejudice, judges, to those 3 matters.
I'm dismissing the matters without prejudice. All right, we still have a few more matters left. What are we doing?
On the matter Z790927, we do have an officer, Mark Thompson here. I'm not sure if he's ready to go to trial on this curfew violation. I have not been able, or had an opportunity to talk.
I'm sorry, counsel. Mr. Armstrong, this is your case we're talking about, so I expect you to be on the camera. Thank you, sir. Your face. Your whole face, sir.
Move the camera down.
Sir, your whole face. Thank you.
And sit down, Mr. Armstrong. Have a seat somewhere so you're not moving about. I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge.
No, that's okay. All right. And that's not good lighting for him. I can't see his face. I won't continue if I can't see who he is.
There you go. You just had to stay out of the light, Mr. Armstrong.
All right. Thank you. Counsel, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, at this time, we have on one of these cases, Z790927, we have Officer Mark Thompson here, and that is on the curfew violation. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but I'm asking him if he is ready to go to trial on the curfew violation.
Officer Thompson, did you hear Attorney Morgan?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. I'm the detective. Yes, I did. I heard his thing, and the case has some time on it, so I don't know how he wants to proceed. If he wants to meet in a breakout room for a quick discussion, I'm willing to do that, ma'am.
Listen, let me say this. I schedule my trials 3 weeks out. That gives everybody the opportunity to do everything they need to do before the trial date. I've been sitting in chambers for 45 minutes to come down and do a 1:30 docket. I don't know how much more time the parties need. So you want to go in the breakout room after we talk about some of the other matters that are for Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. But in the future, let's make sure we get in on, we get together and you all communicate. So at 1:30, yes, at 1:30. All right. What about the remaining trials? Mr. Morgan?
The remaining trials, I do not believe we have any officers on the remaining trials. That would be, well, starting with you, 5-3.
Okay, I'll read the rest of the cases into the record and you can tell me if you're ready.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. U 154-28614. Are we ready to proceed on that matter?
Where's that at? I'm looking at that.
Your Honor, there was no officer who signed in or I was told appeared in the courtroom. We would move to dismiss on that matter.
Mr. Morgan, that looks like somebody pew.
No. Oh, no, we're not ready on that matter, no.
All right, I'm granting the motion is dismissed without prejudice. I have case number U 537-11909.
I don't have an officer, there's none listed on the docket sheet.
Your motion,
Motion to dismiss without prejudice, Your Honor.
motion granted, it's dismissed without prejudice. Case number U 537-68809.
We do not have an officer listed, nor do we have an officer here. Isn't that correct, Mr. Pike?
That is correct. And I would move to dismiss, Your Honor.
That matter is dismissed without prejudice. I have case number U 539-68309.
We do not have an officer listed on the docket sheet, nor do we have one here ready to go. Isn't that correct, Mr. Pike?
That is correct, Your Honor. No officer signed in. We'd move to dismiss without prejudice.
That matter is dismissed. And then I'm going to case number 105-640-691.
You know, Officer Reiner did not sign in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
We do not have an officer. I'm sorry. We do not have an officer present on that case. Thank you, Mr. Pike. I think I heard you say that the officer did not check in today.
That is correct. Your Honor, we move to dismiss without prejudice.
All right, the matter is dismissed without prejudice. And then I have case number 154-635-371.
People do not have a witness here on this matter, and there is none listed on the docket sheet. We are not prepared to proceed.
I can confirm that, Your Honor. We move to dismiss without prejudice.
All right, I'm dismissing it without prejudice. We have one matter. Mr. Morgan, I'll give you an opportunity to go in the breakout room and speak with the officer. And then Mr. Morgan, do you need to be on the record for Mr. Agnew?
I
Did
don't,
you all work out Mr. Agnew?
well, I don't think we do, Judge, and I don't know that
Okay.
Mr. Morgan knows about it, but I think we don't need him because of the
Okay,
situation.
all right, very good. Then we'll let you do the breakout room with the officer, and then I'll come back and call the last case for Mr. Armstrong. Do I have a printout for Agnew?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me get it right. I'm gonna give you this, and we'll work from that. It's in the file.
Okay, and so on these,
What file you have?
this is Mr. Armstrong. I didn't write these up. Did you write down what I
I
said?
did, I did.
Okay, so I'm gonna get these back to you.
Okay.
You do
Other
this
than
one.
that one that he went to go talk to the officer on?
Yes, and then there are 3 that are adjourned
Oh, that's right.
to March 11th at 1:30. All right, let's go to Mr. Agnew's matters. And so did you look to see, will you be able to tell me, Mr. Bikens,
Yes.
based on my docket, what's his and what's not?
Okay. Let me
You
start with,
will?
yes, I can do that, Judge. I can do
Okay.
that because the one that is not his is the one he pled responsible to. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me make sure I have that right. The one he pled on, Judge, was SP 11550881.
Yes. And is that his ticket?
That is not his ticket, Judge, and we apologize for not figuring that out, although Officer Kropic wasn't, he was present when the plea was taken, and it happened to be that, according to my client, Officer Kropic stopped both him and his son on that day in different cars. Mr. Agnew was surprised that that matter was not taken care of because he thought he had paid his other matters referable to that day. I said, no, and I told him, no, it's not been paid. And I went back and did that. Unfortunately, Judge, we didn't discover that that was not his case. It was his son's case. We took a
Okay,
plea.
and so, and so let me ask you, Mr. Fikens, I've established that that one is not his. Can you go through the remaining matters on my docket and tell me if those are the father's cases
The
that
rest,
are on my docket?
yes, I can, and we'll take,
Do you want me to call them and you can tell me if it is or isn't?
no, this will take me 10 seconds just to do the math to make sure, because I have your docket and I have his cases. So I just have to make sure we have enough cases. Judge, the rest of the tickets on your docket are his cases.
Are the father's cases?
They're the father's cases.
Sorry.
Uh-oh, Miss Matt said she looked and 3 of them are not.
Yeah, the SP 116-733-6, count 1, 2, and 3, those are the sums.
All right. So as to those 3 matters, Mr. Fikens, they will be in capious status because there was notice given that he needed to appear. He never did.
Yes, Judge.
And so we will put them in capious status.
Yeah, and then the one that he pled, that the dad pled on, that ends in 881, Judge, that's the son's case as well.
Yes.
And then everything else belongs to dad.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. And so, Mr. Fikens, for the matter SP 115-50881, where the father, John Agnew, pled guilty, I am going to set aside that guilty plea, okay?
Yes, Judge.
I'm gonna set it aside, and that matter will be capious because again, there was ample notice given to appear. And so it'll be a personal bond. It won't be the bond I had set earlier.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. What are we doing as to the remaining cases for the father? Because they are on my docket today. And I just need to go and check through on here. 2, 3, 7.
Your Honor, the remaining matters were set for either trial or formal hearing, and no other officers showed up.
Well, no, the remaining matters were set for adjourn to pay because we had taken a plea.
The only other thing I can think of, Judge, if they were not, I mean, they were, I know that Officer Vickers did not show up, Judge, so I don't know that each one of those were, if it was set for a formal hearing, which I thought it was.
No, not today, Mr. Fikens. They are all scheduled adjourned to pay. Because what happened is that, okay, Mr. Arthur, okay. What happened, Mr. Fikens, is that on the day that I accepted the plea, I don't know what they were set up for that particular day. But the day I accepted the plea, then all of these came back as adjourned to pay. So what I can do for you, go ahead, Mr. Fikens.
I thought, and this is on a memory, Judge, I thought those matters were adjourned to pay because you indicated you are not going to get those dismissals until I make sure that you pay the one that you pled guilty on. I thought that was the outcome of those matters, Your Honor.
What was it for all of those matters or just for Vickers?
Well, it was also Officer McDonald did not show.
No. I'm saying now, Mr. Fikens, you jarred my memory. There was an officer that did not appear on the day of the formal hearing.
Correct.
And I indicated while your client would have deserved a dismissal, that I would not dismiss until he made his payment to 36th District Court. And are you indicating that those cases are the cases identified as Officer Vickers' cases?
Those certainly are those cases, Judge.
Okay,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
So in fairness, Mr. Fikens, and you correct me if you're asking for a different outcome, in fairness, then I am going to grant those dismissals for Vickers because they already had a bite at the apple for the formal hearing.
Correct.
All right, so these are the matters that I am dismissing. SP 122-62471. I'm also dismissing count 2. Count 3. I'm also dismissing case number SP 1226990, counts 1, 2, and 3. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Fikens, does that cover what you were trying to communicate to the court?
Yes, although I was going to communicate one more thing to the court, that Officer McDonald
Yes.
on the same day did not show up either. As I recall, the only officer was Officer Kopik who showed up.
All right. And so in fairness, Mr. Fikens, I am going to dismiss SP 122-714-91 and 92, count 2. So those will be dismissals as well.
Yes.
So now, counsel, that leaves us with the 3 matters from Officer McDonald. And then there is another matter that appears on this printout that you gave me that is not on my docket. And that case is SP 106-54011.
And Judge, that would be, I'm assuming that is his case, Mr. Agnew's case, but
Yes.
I
You
know
paid
nothing.
it? Okay, that one's been paid, Mr. Fikens.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, I'm just accounting for everything. That's been paid. So we have the 3 matters for McDonald. And so, counsel, how do you want to proceed? Do you
Judge,
want to reschedule? Go ahead.
Well, if I might, Your Honor, that was the same officer. I believe they were scheduled that day for trial. It's that same Officer McDonald who this court dismissed 2 other matters for.
Correct.
He did not,
yes.
Officer
Wait a minute.
McDonald.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They're broken up on the docket. My
Yes.
fault, Mr.
Yeah.
Fikens.
No, no.
So I'm also dismissing case numbers SP 122-518-01. Case 01, and then counts 2 and 3. And that should dispose of everything other than the matter that your client has already paid.
Correct.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we are in great shape. Thank you, Mr. Fikens, for your patience.
Your Honor, thank you for
We're in
your
great shape.
understanding.
And that's
And,
for the son, the ones that he, because he didn't show. He
Yes.
did personal bonds for those. Yeah, those are the cases for him.
All right, very good. Here we go.
Do you want Mr. Agnew to step up?
Mr. Agnew is all squared away. I'm just gonna encourage you and your son to
Get it together.
Sir, get your driving life together. Okay, all right, I'm so glad. Yes, sir.
I hope so.
All right,
Do you want to wait for paperwork? You can. If you don't, it'll all be dismissals. You can always look them up online. So that's up to you. Okay, have a seat.
who is this?
That's the last case that.
That's not the last.
That's one I've already called. Yeah.
The last.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Anthony Armstrong, one more matter for Anthony Armstrong.
Right. Are we ready? I'm Mr. Armstrong.
We're ready.
All right. I have case number Z790927 for Anthony Armstrong. Mr. Armstrong, state your name again for the record.
Anthony Armstrong.
All right. I don't know that the officer placed his name on the record. Let me have you place your name, Detective Thompson, and your badge number.
I am Detective Mark Thompson of the 9th Precinct. Badge number is D1885.
Thank you. All right.
Stephen Morgan on behalf of the city of Detroit, D44533. And at this time, the people are not prepared to proceed to trial. This is 2009 case, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fikens.
Judge, we move to dismiss without prejudice.
All right. I am dismissing the matter without prejudice. Did I miss anything, Ms. Mack?
No, I think that is everything for everyone.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. And thank you, Mr. Reed, Mr. Fikens. Get your rest. We have a busy week next week.
And thank you, Detective Thompson, for showing up. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, we certainly do. All right, very good.